All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to our morning note. Happy new month. It's November 2nd, 2020. It's day before the election. Oh boy. So tomorrow is finally the big day. Finally the day that we can see if we have the same president, same Congress, different president, different Congress, whatever. Again, huge day. I think we've been waiting for this for a while now. I mean, we've been talking about it, and it's really, really important. So, again, kind of the big Super Bowl of all Super Bowl days is tomorrow. Again, if we get a winner, we'll get to see. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a big one. We'll be watching it. I know probably tomorrow night I won't be sleeping because I want to see exactly what happens exactly. I want to see the futures, so I will be watching everything tomorrow. So a lot of coffee tomorrow, a lot of Red Bull tomorrow. That's for me for sure. All right, let's talk about market, shall we? Dow futures up 376 points off the highs, was up about 400. Nasdaq up 88.80%. S&P up 1.1% at 3,300, still holding that 3,300 handle. Russell 2000 futures down up 1.28% at 1555. Crude oil is down about 1%. Crude is still getting hit. Bitcoin taking a little bit of a slide, down 1.5% at 13,530. Gold futures up 0.5%, and silver futures up 1.63%. Dollar is slightly up 0.03%. Let's talk forex. 1.1636 for the euro dollar, down about 7 pips, and 104.65 down 2 pips on a dollar yen. Not much action on the forex side. And VIX is down 1.24%, still kind of hovering, even though it's super up. The markets, VIX is still kind of holding up. So it's kind of like the calm before the storm. Even though I'm very surprised that the market's up, but we did close with a nice green candle on Friday. So looking at it here, guys, kind of my 2 cents. Again, obviously tomorrow I'll have another morning note. Maybe I'll do an IG live or something if you guys want. Again, we have no idea what's going to happen. Anyone who tells you they know, they really don't. We don't know. Polls can change. We know that in 2016. Sentiments can change. Again, guys, people can respond to polls one way, but when you're in that booth, no one's there with you. You're voting the way you want. So people can lie to polls. People can say different things, but when you're in that booth, that's when it counts. So I have no idea what's going to happen, who's going to win, or what have you. I know what I've read. I've been reading articles from both sides of the aisle, left and right, newspapers, everything. And there is really no consensus. There's odds, sure, but there's really no consensus of, for sure, this person's going to win. We don't know. We don't know. So what do you do as a trader with that being said? What do you do, right? Like, okay, Carlos, well, I need to know what I got to do. Right now, today, I don't expect a lot of volume. Again, especially today and tomorrow. I would just really just sit on your hands, kind of start setting up, kind of your playbook. What will happen if this happens? What will happen if that happens? Start, again, the podcast, I went over that on the last episode. If you want to check it out, it's the G.A.R Capital official podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I break down exactly what industries to look for, what stocks to look at, and again, depending on who wins. So again, you have different scenarios. Again, if I could tell you this for a fact, that if Trump does win re-election, it will be a nice positive for the market. We will definitely soar this week. If Biden does win, again, without a Democratic Congress, then you can kind of see a little bit of a mixture. If you have a Biden blue sweep, then definitely stocks will be under pressure right off the rip as they basically absorb the tax increases and what have you. So again, it really just depends on the mindset and what you see. Again, Trump does win. It's definitely a positive this week. Long term, again, we just got to wait and see exactly what the policies are. If Biden wins, then you could definitely see some weakness this week as traders are basically just kind of absorbing all the information. If you have a Democratic Congress, full Democratic Congress, totally different story. I think literally the worst case scenario would be that we have a contested election going through the courts and we don't have a winner going into December. That would probably be the worst case scenario, where you have riots in the streets, you have protests. That's when things will get very ugly. The next case scenario where you actually have a winner down, if I had to kind of pick, the next one would be a Trump win, but the Democrats have the Congress. and they're going to be out for blood, which would not be good. So nothing would get passed. That would probably be another worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I think, if you're looking at a whole, Republicans hold everything and things kind of stay the same. We know what we're going to get. That's probably the most positive short term for the market. Another positive short term would be a blue wave with Biden winning. Again, if you had a unified government, things would get passed, whether it's stimulus, whether it's whatever you want. So that's pretty much what we're watching for the most part. Futures are going to be absolutely insane tomorrow evening. I'll be watching it, but the spreads are going to be very wide, so you got to be extremely careful. Extremely careful. In regards to buying stocks today, obviously I wouldn't buy stocks when they're up. I would look for some names that you're interested in. Start making a list of names that you've been wanting to buy at lower levels, because you probably will get there. So it's very important you start writing down the names that you do like longer term. And if you see an opportunity, you buy it. Of course, if you need the money within a year, probably not. If you're a long-term investor, yeah, this is any kind of really bloodbath dips where you have 1 to 3%, a 3% move to the downside. Yeah, definitely that's a time to actually want to buy. But I would wait till election night or after the election day before you start making some moves, because depending on who wins, you have different sectors that will benefit. So again, that's very important to really have a game plan before you start doing anything. Just don't buy anything just because. Remember, every time you buy a stock or invest, you're really investing in the company. You're buying the story of the company, their management, their growth. So I don't want you buying something or a company where you don't understand why you got them. You want to make sure that you're confident in that company long term, where if you start getting dips on the future, you don't have weak hands and you just start selling it. So let's just say you bought Tesla, for example, but you're not a big fan of EV. You don't like Elon Musk, and you're just like, I bought it because, well, Carlos put it in his top 10 list. That's not enough to hold, man. That's not enough to hold. You have to do your research, and you have to say, do I believe in this company moving forward to grow? That's what you want to keep an eye on. Does this company have the prospects to grow? Is this a company that I want to be a part of? Because you are a part of it. When you own a company or own a part of it, a share like I own Apple or Nvidia, no, their news are important to me. I want to know their growth. I want to know what they do. And you have sometimes you have votes for the board. So you get on those conference calls. You get those dividends. You're a part of that thing. You're part of the team now. So when you own a stock, you're part of that team. So it's very important to understand why you're holding things. But again, that's all speculation. We don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I will be updating everyone on Twitter. Maybe I'll do an IG live or something. Again, let me know if you want me to do one. A YouTube live will happen once we have 6,000 Twitter followers, because I know you enjoyed the last one. We had 5,920. So again, once we get to 6,000, I'm totally in. I'm doing another YouTube live trading session. It'll be super fun. So with that being said, that's where we are now. There's a couple levels I want to look at for the most part, but I would not be trading today, guys. Just you have to be extremely careful. I don't want you guys getting blown up on God knows what the hell is going to happen tomorrow. We don't know. We don't know if ballots are going to be tossed. We don't know if something's going to be said or if there's some wild protests or whatever. It's going to be pretty insane. So just kind of sit on your hands for a little bit, relax, see how the world kind of absorbs things and the data points. But let's go ahead and go over some pre-market movers for the most part here. NIO is up about 12%. Remember, we talked about NIO with the actual breakout. It's looking pretty solid. Apple is flat, but on strong volume. Insignia is up about 24%, but they're a penny stock. Let's look at the Dow. Intel bouncing back 1%. Boeing up 1%. Ryanair said they're going to buy some more Boeing airplanes. Cisco up 1%. JP Morgan 1%. Walt Disney 1%. IBM 1.15. Walmart 1%. Coca-Cola 1.17. So green on the Dow. Carnival Cruise Lines down 1.75%. Twitter down 1%, continuing to fall. American Airlines down 0.27%. AMD up 0.72%. Bank of America up 0.72%. On the NASDAQ side, Tesla up 0.81%. Facebook slightly red. PayPal does report after the bell. Just mind you, 1.5%. Zoom is up 1.64%. Amazon 0.42%. Dunkin' Brands, part of the NASDAQ, is up 6.26%. There were some price upgrades, but they are going private. Or actually, they were getting bought out by Sonic, I believe. That's the Sonic company that owns Sonic. And that's basically what's moving today. So a lot of green on the board, which is nice to see, obviously. So let's go ahead and go over PayPal. PayPal's probably the big one that's going to report today. I do own the stock. Very important to see if we get that break of 192.29, which is that 50-day, which would retrace that big drop from Friday across the board in the markets. So if you were looking at getting into PayPal, let's look at the volume. If you wanted to play the actual expiry, your best bet would be the 195, which is right under the 100-day moving average. They could be a little juiced on the premium. 200s would be nice out there. You got some time. So 200s or 195s could be the play. NIO is absolutely breaking out. Again, they actually sold more cars than expected. Again, I've been saying this name for a while now. Again, beautiful breakout on the chart. We did this live with our YouTube trading session. Keep in mind, I think we had the 30 calls. Now it's at 34, 32. It's pretty great. And again, I broke the chart down on YouTube. I also put it on Instagram, so you guys can see. It's a great chart here. If you see it return back to 34.46, maybe you could play some calls. There really isn't any resistance up there. It's pretty much as high as imagination could go. The main thing is that if you do trade NIO, understand that there is some market volatility attached to it with the election. They're still a Chinese company. But I kind of equate it to Alibaba. So again, NIO and Alibaba are kind of the same place. Chinese companies, any kind of Chinese deals. If Donald Trump does win re-election, he doesn't have the best relationship with China. Biden with the relationship with China, we'll see. But again, an NIO, if you have a Biden win, NIO will soar. If you have a Trump win, NIO may be under pressure, but I think it will still continue to go up. So again, if you get a Trump re-election, NIO may be an opportunity to actually buy some here if you're looking long term. Again, I don't own the stock whatsoever. The only company in the EV space I own is Tesla, and I love Tesla, so that's the one I want to own. But I love trading NIO, honestly. NIO has been a great stock to trade. So that's where we are, and let's go ahead and answer some questions here. Move this stuff here. All right. Bruno says, oh, good morning. Bruno says, Tesla long-term good price or not? Let's take a look at it. Tesla, again, I haven't bought any stocks ahead of the election, but again, anything below 400 is nice, but let's wait if we get a little more. Square got killed on Friday. Everything got killed on Friday. Any idea why? The whole market went down. Good time to buy at 150. Like I said, I would not do anything. Do not buy anything until you have an election outcome, because you could probably get a lower price. What do you think about VIX play? Yep, I have some VXX calls with our members, and again, it's an insurance play for the absolute apocalypse. We don't know what's going to happen, but again, if you look at VXX, that's what I have. You can see it's still holding up above that 25, which is that 100-day moving average. It's still a breakout above this level, but again, it needs to retrace back to 26.44. Obviously, the Dow being up 363 does hurt the VIX slightly, as it's down 1.24%, but I definitely like it. Are you expecting to sell off on the open bell? I don't know what to expect for the next couple of days whatsoever. There is no expectation. Really just have to play it literally minute by minute, because you have no idea what's going to happen. Again, one headline, such and such, this person said this, polls come out, things can flip on a dime. Facebook, good price. Facebook, any kind of buying on stock, guys, don't do anything. You wait, because you could probably get a better price on Wednesday. Trust me when I say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be your opportunities to really get some stocks at good prices. I do believe that. So again, I would not do anything here. Do you think Penn is a good long-term investment? Yes, I own Penn. What are some of the names you're looking to add towards next week's? Again, some of the names I already have. The Microsofts of the world, Facebook's of the world. I did a deep dive on Facebook's numbers. They're absolutely amazing. Again, Apple, I'm watching as well. Nvidia, definitely going to want to add there. AMD, I want to add to some more. UNH, United Health, I want to add to some more. But again, it's really dependent on the election. I don't know how more I can stress that. NIO levels broke out. Yeah, I already talked about NIO. Bull trap, could be. Absolutely. What is the level you need to see to get an NIO this week? Yeah, we need to retake those highs. 34.46. So 34.50 would probably be a really good level to start looking at buying some calls. But again, you really don't know you better get out the same day. You really have to get out by tomorrow before the election starts getting counted. Thoughts on plug, November 6, 14.5 calls. Guys, today you're going to have to be extremely careful. I would highly recommend not to do anything today. Today is the day you turn on your Xbox, you turn on your Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, or get back to work, whatever you do. Sit on your hands. You have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know either. Again, I'm hoping for the best, assuming the worst. That's why I have some VIX, just in case. Just in case. I didn't put a ton of money into VIX, obviously, but again, it's important to be on top of it to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. Some portfolio insurance will not hurt you. Spines has a long-term entry. Again, John, right now there is no entry. Don't do it. You have to wait and see if you get some moves, because depending on what happens election night, again, if we don't have a winner or there's some really crazy protests or some wildness, we could see a 5% drop in the market for all we know. And all your numbers and prices are out the window. How long does it take to get added to Discord purchase plan this morning? It should be within the next couple of minutes. Jared, check out our podcast about the Trump election. Back to being reasonably quick. Yep. Nico is he's our BP here at G.A.R Capital, so he's just answering a question. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so kind of what I really want to stress, guys, is sit on your hands today. I really, really, really would hope that you guys don't do anything today. And I'm not against you making money. I'm obviously want you guys to take advantage of opportunities, but we don't know what's going to happen, and uncertainty is a killer. So I would not open anything unless you get a really good move. If there's one name, I would say maybe two names I would watch today: PayPal and IO. Everything else, I don't even think about anything else. Those two that I have at the bottom are probably the only two I would be watching. PayPal and IO. PayPal has earnings. I expect them to beat, and I expect them to go up slightly. 195 would be the target. NIO, again, breaking out, get to 34.50, we can have a conversation about getting it. But until then, those are the only two that I'd be watching it for, because you have catalysts. NIO has their catalyst where they actually sold a lot of cars that beat their expectations. PayPal has earnings. I own PayPal. I don't own NIO. But again, PayPal, when it comes to fintech, Square and PayPal have been the winners. They're the ones that have been outperforming while the traditional banks have been underperforming. So again, I'm still with the thesis of fintech is still the way to go. Again, down the future line, if we have more stimulus, which we will, depending on the size of it and when it'll be done, PayPal will definitely be a beneficiary. So that's exactly what I would be watching. Looking at Pinterest here. Pinterest is right on the 50-day moving average. We should get that little bit of a pop with the market. Again, you can still see it still hasn't retraced pre-earnings. And you could see a nice, if we get a bounce back above the 50, we should retrace back to 66.47. Again, depending on how we get price action today. But NIO and PayPal are really the only ones I'd be watching. So PayPal, the next level you want to watch is right around 192. If you do break 192, then we can have the conversation, and maybe 195s. Maybe juiced. The prices may be expensive. If they are, you skip it. If they are there, you skip it. The 200s, again, it would be complete lotto. I wouldn't recommend to get into it. 195s would probably be the safer bet, because more likely you could probably cash that in before the earnings report, make your money, and then move on and leave a runner if you want. Leave one as a lotto ticket. But again, 192 could be the play. I'd wait for that. NIO 34.5. I'd wait for that. So puts, again, nothing. Today you need to be neutral. You need to be neutral. You don't know. Today and tomorrow, we have no idea. Unless Biden resigns or Trump says, I'm not going for re-election, something like that, where we have an absolute for sure, there is no for sure. So you can't trade on something you don't know. You actually have to have some kind of idea what the hell is going to happen. So I would just wait. And no. Well, I can see where you're saying about Wayfair, and Wayfair is almost in the same boat as PayPal. So you kind of have to retrace above 285 before you do anything. AMD and NVIDIA post-election, oh man, I own both. So, excuse me, I would say NVIDIA slightly above. So that's where I'd be. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know if you're interested in IG Live. If not tomorrow, let me know. We'll go from there, guys. Again, I cannot stress enough. Be patient. Be patient. Don't feel the need to get into anything today or tomorrow. Don't force anything. You have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. I've been researching this thing all weekend and this morning. We have no consensus. Forget the polls. The polls are meaningless. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. Again, just be patient and you'll be fine. You'll have your opportunities once we have a winner. That I promise you. All right, guys. We have a great one. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. G.A.R Capital, FX.com is website. Bottom right-hand corner is the click that, subscribe, turn on notifications. We love you guys as always, and we'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.